We had a brief overview of links in HTML Part 1. Let's revisit those concepts first and then do some further digging. As we know that links are created using the A element. Users can click on anything that we have enclosed between the opening A tag and the closing A tag. The href attribute tells which page we want to link to. In this example, clicking on the word Microsoft, we are taken to their website. Let's code it and view the result in the browser. Opening A tag, href, and the value of href would be the web address of the Microsoft homepage for the United States. Since Microsoft has different homepages for different countries. Closing A tag, save it and load into the browser. And we see that upon clicking on the word Microsoft, we are taken to their website. The important thing to understand here is that the words in between the anchor tags can be anything. Let's suppose the words between the anchor tags are Google instead of Microsoft. And in our editor, let's replace the word Microsoft with Google, save it and reload into the browser. Now that we see the word Google instead of Microsoft, and upon clicking, we'll be taken to again Microsoft, not Google. The reason behind this, as you must have guessed, is the value of the href attribute. The href attribute tells the browser where to go, and the word that we click on can be anything. And a concept as simple as this causes many bad things over the internet, like stealing the credit card numbers, retrieval of passwords and personal information, and stuff like that. Let's see an example of something known as a phishing attack. We can send something like verify your PayPal account into someone's email, and upon clicking on the PayPal link, the user must be thinking he's going to the PayPal website, while in reality he'll be going on the web page that we want him to go. And the beauty of this thing is that every year non-zero number of people still get trapped in scams like this. We see that we have the word PayPal enclosed inside the anchor tags, and the href is badguy.com, and when the user will click on the PayPal link, he would be thinking that he's going to the PayPal website, while in reality he's becoming a victim of something known as the phishing attack. Alright, let's look at two important kinds of links: relative URLs and absolute URLs. Links are also called URLs, that is, Uniform Resource Locator. When we are linking to another website, the value of the href attribute will be the full address of that site. Writing http:// is recommended because if it's omitted, the link might not work in some browsers. In other words, the value of href would be the address that we would have entered in the address bar had we gone to that website manually. Such a URL is called the absolute URL, that is, the complete web address of a particular page of a website. And then comes the second type of URL, that is the relative URL. And let's understand it with the help of an example. Suppose we have a website that has 3 pages and their names are 1.html, 2.html and 3.html. On any page, we can navigate our way to our desired page. Let's view the HTML code of any of these pages and find out what are the values of href attribute. And we find out that the values of href attributes are just the file names of all the pages. This looks a bit surprising. The question is, on page 1, when we click on page 2, how does the page 1 find out where page 2 is placed in our computer? Because obviously, when we click on any link, the browser reads its href attribute and locates the page mentioned in the href based on its address. But in our case, we are just mentioning the file name and that's it. You might argue that this is because both these files are located on the same computer. But I'd say that although both the files are in the same computer, that's right, still the browser cannot magically locate the file in the computer and open it up for us. It still needs the exact path of that file. So the question is still there. How did the browser lead us to page 2 while its href attribute is just the name of the file, that is 2.html? And the answer to this question is relative URL. If we are say on page 1.html, we would find out the location of page 2 and other pages relative to page 1. And if we open up the folder of these files, we find out that they are all in the same folder. This means we are telling the href that since page 2 is in the same folder as page 1, you don't need the complete path. You can just enter the file name and that's it. Because both these HTML files are located in the exact same folder. But usually in real life, there are situations when not all the files of a website are in the same folder. Further, it's a good idea to organize your website in such a manner that pages for each section of the site are in separate folders. So let's analyze the situation when different pages are in different folders. Suppose we have 3 folders named 1, 2 and 3, and folder 2 is inside folder 1, folder 3 is inside folder 2. In this situation, folder 1 will be called the parent of folder 2 and 3. Similarly, folder 2 would also be parent of folder 3. In short, the container folder is called the parent and the contained folder is called the child. Now, if we are on page 1, that is in folder 1, and we want to connect to page 2, that is in folder 2, we would tell the href to go from the current folder inside folder 2, and inside that folder there will be a file named 2.html. Similarly, to connect to page 3, we'll ask href to first go from the current folder into folder 2, and inside that folder you'll find another folder named 3, and inside that folder there will be a file named 3.html. Having saved it and reloaded it, we see that the page 1 will connect to other pages properly. This was an example of relative URL that connects file that is in the parent folder to a file that is in the child folder. And the second scenario can be when we want to connect a file in child folder to the file that is in parent folder. And we would write its href the following way. Suppose we want to connect 2.html to 1.html, we'll write href to go one directory up, that is in the parent folder of folder 2, by writing 2 dots and slash. And to connect to page 3, we'll write the href to first go to the child folder, that is in folder 3, and then connect to 3.html. Save it. And likewise, to connect page 3 to page 2, we would go one directory up by writing dot dot slash and then the name of the file 2.html. And to connect to 1.html, we'll go 2 directories up and write dot dot slash 2 times and then the name of the file. Save all these files and load into the browser, and we see that all these files are connecting properly. So to sum it up, if we want to go up to the parent directory, we write dot dot slash. If we want to go 2 directories up, we would write dot dot slash 2 times. Likewise, if we want to go down to the child directory, we write the directory name, then slash, and then the file name. Thanks for watching.